Hey everybody, welcome to Electronic Cafe. This is Tim Humphrey. Today I want to talk a little bit about ABC. So the 80s and 90s, and I guess they're still going even though they've only made one album probably the last 20 years or so. But mostly known for their 80s hits. ABC, Martin Fry, the singer. The They started probably in like 79, 80, with disco, and hit it big with their first album right away. Which is I don't have it. Actually, it's probably the first time I think I ever got one of these. You can see Power and Corruption over there, where my finger is trying to point there. That's Power, Corruption, and Lies. So Power, Corruption, Lies. New Order. So when I first got my first record sleeves, like holders to put them on the wall. It's funny, I just thought of that, but it's still in one. And it's in my bedroom. But Lex Color Love is actually been in one for probably almost 30 years now, since when I got my first record. Holders to put on the wall. So that's why I don't have to cover this one. This is still my sister's original copy. Hope she doesn't want it back. Sorry. This is her original copy that she got in probably 1982, 83, my oldest sister. So this has always been, this is quintessential, probably one of the best disco slash, it's hard to call them new wave. They're sort of like a post-disco, I suppose, dance music. They're so original. It's even when I think of their late 80s stuff, and then of course like Abracadabra, which is more house music and a little bit of rhythm and blues, and like when you hear like Smokey Sings, which is one of their biggest songs, it has like a little bit of Northern Soul in there, and I guess in a way they're just spread across a lot of good genres, from soul to rhythm and blues to dance music to disco to house music. So they're really hard to pigeonhole, and it's really sad that, especially in America, they're considered a one-hit wonder, even though they probably had like 4 or 5 top 40 songs in America, but they're still known as like a one-hit wonder. And there's so much good music they've done, and if you get their albums, from the ones that I'll show you, there's so many good songs on each one. And when for those that don't know ABC, or for those that do, you know how Martin Fry is he almost sings a little bit like Neil Tennant, or not sings like, but he kind of has like a UK sort of, I like the finer things in life, like, he kind of sings about that, and just high society, and the nicest cars, and a lot of his songs are kind of themed in that. Of course, there's a lot of singing about love and love lost and all those kind of things when he writes. But very unique singer. They're very creative. It's hard for me to say the musicians in the band. I think the other guy's name was Mark White for a little bit, but it was sort of like an ensemble of 2 people, and then it sort of became 4 as they tried to grow bigger and sort of look like a band in the 80s. And I don't know how much of those people, like in the Be Near Me video, were really actually part of the band. They were sort of on the picture of the album, but they weren't on the next one. And then, so for the most part, it's been Martin Fry and the Mark White guy. And I think Mark White left after Abracadabra, and that really, so you can see how much he was responsible for the music, because then they haven't done much after. And they've had a lot of good producers, a lot of good remixers, a lot of good engineers on their albums, and they sound really good. And of course, what's her name did the strings on this, and I can't think of her name, and something, but Ann Dudley did the keyboards of this, so she did like Crying Game, a lot of other good orchestra she's conducted, so she's really strong. It says David Palmer, Stephen Singleton, Mark White, and Martin Fry were the original 4 on here. So it looks like there was 4 members on the first one, but most of the videos, I guess it does have a couple of videos. And, this album went huge when it came out. I think Poison Arrow, Shoot That Poison Arrow Through My Heart, Look of Love were huge tracks. All of My Heart is probably my favorite song on here. It's just a great ballad. All of My Heart. It really, after Poison Arrow and then Look of Love, and both did really well. All of My Heart did still do well in the UK, but didn't do well in here in America. Just not the right type, not the right song for American audiences. Probably a little bit too long too, because it's pushing almost 5 minutes for like radio play. But it's such a great song. And then their first single that they ever put out is on here, and that's Tears Are Not Enough. And I never really liked Tears Are Not Enough back then, but as I've grown older, it's actually one of my favorite songs from this album, and one of my favorite songs from their early career. It has so much energy, and for some reason it reminds me of To Cut a Long Story Short by Spandau Ballet, and I don't know why that is. It's just because that it kind of has that. I guess that's for New Romantic, where this Tears Are Not Enough is like a new wave band sort of doing a disco song and sort of coming out of that and creating their kind of own sound and kind of evolving from that. But it's kind of that was their sort of tribute to disco music and what was going on then, and probably all the music that they've been hearing. Tears Are Enough was probably released, I think it was in 1980, and it didn't chart in America, but it's a really good song. And there's quite a few good songs on here. One I wanted to mention was I think it's Forever Together is another one of my favorite songs. So really good first album, and it did really well in the charts. Coming off that, they had a lot of expectation, and if you see some of their videos, this was considered a flop at the time. And if you see some of the interviews with Martin Fry, I just watched one recently where he revisited this. This just came up on 40 years ago. This was released last year, I think, 83, or maybe it was 82, but I saw a 40-year anniversary about it, and he was talking about it, and looking back on it, they didn't want to do an album like Lexicon of Love. They wanted to branch out and shock people, and that's what this did. And unfortunately, maybe it was a little bit too ahead of time, maybe it was a little bit too rocky, but I think only 2 songs charted in the UK, but no hits in America, and the album pretty much flopped. But there's a lot of good songs on here, a lot of catchy songs. The 2 singles were That Was Then, But This Is Now, and SOS. SOS has a really cool keyboard sounds on it. That Was Then, But This Now is a great track. The Power of Persuasion, Hey Citizen, King Money, Unzip are all really catchy songs and sound a lot like the songs from Alphabet City. They sound a lot like Alphabet City. So if you like Alphabet City, don't miss Beauty Stamp. By Default, By Design is probably up there in the top 3 or top 4 of my favorite slow songs by ABC. So you have All of My Heart, which is my favorite. On the last one, By Default, By Design, and Ocean Blue is a good one, and there's also another one on How to Be a Millionaire, which is a really good one too. I'm blanking on the name. Blanking on the name of that. Anyways, really good album, but not one of the best of theirs, but it's still, I would say, it's probably the least favorite of mine. But it has grown. I mean, there are some good songs on here. I just think when I look at the track list, I see I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I like about 7, probably 8, maybe 9 songs out of 12 on here. And the other 3 I don't dislike. It's just they're okay, So that's how good their albums are. If you like their sound, you will love their albums. If you don't know their albums, if you just know the singles, get the albums, because you'll be pleasantly surprised. And there's a lot of good stuff on there. When you add up all the 80s albums and Abracadabra right here, you have 70, 80, 90 songs that are great. Just that many, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 albums, 89 up. Yeah, I mean roughly like 70 songs. I don't actually have the. I actually have it on cassette. That's right. I have ABC How to Be a Millionaire on cassette. A couple of the singles, so Vanity Kills, and this is when they went with the artwork and sort of, if you remember the Be Near Me video, kind of has this artwork. Kind of they created these kind of comic book characters of them, and I mean, talk about quirky. You know, the time like Culture Club look, and you know the androgynous look and just different look. I mean, how different is that, man? You got like a girl here, some little short dude looks like Monopoly guy, right? And then this dude's, you know, Martin Fry, super cool as always. And this guy, the kind of Chris Lowe, the band, right? The keyboard guy, right? So they had the look going. I mean, look at that. That's a cool look. I'm trying to think of the artwork that they remind me of. You guys probably, you guys, oh, this is going to bug me if I can't remember the name. There was a cartoon in the 60s, and they had a lot of coloring books, and they were kind of artwork like this. Was it Skippy? And trying to remember some of the names. Oh man, that's gonna bug me. Oh shit. Oh, anyways, sorry. Excuse my language. But yeah, that's really gonna bug me. But this artwork was done like them. Archie's. That's it. Was it Archie's Kids or Archie's? Anyways, Archie's the cartoon. Very much like Archie's artwork. Very cool. This has the, for those of you who really dig deep and read liner notes and stuff like I did when I was a kid, Julian Mendelsohn. That is the name that you want to know. Great producer, great engineer. He did the remix on Vanity Kills, and then this has the ecstasy mix of Be Near Me. So, good 12-inch there. How to Be a Zillionaire. How to Be a Millionaire, Zillionaire. Of course, this has the Wall Street mix, but then I also have the UK version, and then also the American version. So, got to get all the remixes of this one. Tower of London, which is a song off the album, the extended remix, great version. The acapella, How to Be a Millionaire is great. How to Be a Millionaire is a great dance track. It always works well on the dance floor in 80s sets. That's Tower of London is a really good song. I just mentioned that the extended word. I'm sorry, Fear of the World starts the album. Really like that song. Of course, Ocean Blues on it. Here's the single for Be Near Me. Carrying on the artwork. I love when bands do this. They carry on the artwork for each album into the singles, right? So then you got there's Mark White over there, Martin Fry, and these two people that didn't last long in the band. The guy from, was that a guy? I don't know if that's a guy. I guess it's a guy. I mean, I would imagine it's a guy. I mean, that looks like a guy, right? But I don't know. Kind of confused now. Maybe it's a girl. Anyways, Be Near Me. Munich mix. Ecstasy mix of Be Near Me. On this one is too. What's Your Destination is a good B-side as well. So a really hot track there. And that's a great album, The How to Be a Millionaire. Very catchy, a lot of great music. And then you went on probably their most, I wouldn't say successful, but their biggest hit with When Smokey Sings on Alphabet City in 1987. This came out. This is probably their most polished record. Adds also the remixes. The other singles. King Without a Crown, and then The Night You Murdered Love. Both did really well in UK. Both were top 40, but none of them charted in America. Not even after When Smokey Sings, and When Smokey Sings was like a top 10 song in America. Just disappointing. As for How to Be a Millionaire, Be Near Me, I think was top 15 in America. How to Be a Millionaire, I think was top 40, and so they were on every album they had, for the most part, two of their first three records had a couple top 40 songs, and that was rare for. I wouldn't say rare. I mean, there's but that's in the Tears for Fears. Well, not that kind of to that level, but anybody who gets two top 40 songs in the 80s from one album, and they're not an American, and they're a keyboard band, that was a pretty good you know, there's a lot of sales, and that was a quite a bit of success for a band like ABC. And then they came up with '89 and Up album, which I don't have Up. And then they, oh, I forgot to mention the other good songs on here. Think Again, Rage and Regret, Archangel, One Day, One Day, One Day. Great songs on those album. This was probably, again, the most polished, well-produced album of all of them. Sounds really good. Then you move into my favorite album of theirs, which is Abracadabra. Great album, great album. This was remixed by Dave Bascom. Engineered by Dave Bascom, which also did Music for the Masses. So, great producer, great engineer. This has so many good songs. This is basically ABC doing a more mature R&B and house record. Very dancey record. A lot of great songs on here. There's 2 singles, Say It and Love Conquers All. Welcome to the Real World is really good. Answered Prayer, Spellbound, All That Matters, This Must Be Magic. There is not a bad song on here. Every one of these is good. Except for maybe Satori. But that's like a 2-minute interlude or whatever. But I think this has 9 tracks, so 8 of the 9. Super strong. Super strong. I love the artwork on this as well. They did this little kind of theme thing where they had these pictures down here. They were that's actually the single of ABC there, and I'll show you in here in a second. And these 2 pictures were on the inside of the single. And I remember at the time I had the CD in it for this, and I took out the inside and put them into like a scrapbook pictures on the wall. It looked really cool. Really cool bright colors on the single, and I might be able to show you that in a second. Kind of like this. Very cool colors. There's Mark White and Martin Fry there, but great album. This album is so underknown. You know, it's just people that know ABC, they don't really know this record for the most part, and you really had to be into them to know that this came out, because none of these songs were. I don't even think "Say It," which was the main single from this album, hit top 40 in UK. This flew under the radar. But in 1991, you know, rave music was huge, house music and stuff like that, and ABC naturally, which totally makes sense coming from a disco band, to then do a house record, and they nailed it. This is my dad's favorite ABC record. So many good songs here. So many good songs on here. This must be Magic. My dad loved that song. Oh man, such a good song. And then we have the single for Say It. So really cool artwork. They have like these seashells on there. You know, sort of like here. Very cool artwork. This has actually a black box remix on here. So the band kind of high energy. They did Right on Time and Everybody, and it was in the 3rd single. I'm trying to blank on, but Right on Time, and they had some big hits in there. So they remixed this one. The Black Box Piano Forte and the Black Box single remix and the Black Box instrumental, and then it's got the radio mix and then the 12-inch single on here. So really cool, and also have it on the CD single as well. And I think this might actually have. This was the inside of Abracadabra that actually had the artwork on that, and that's here's the CD here as well. So actually, this is kind of it right here. Actually, I forgot I did buy it just because of this, even though I had it on vinyl. My original copy of my CD, I'm not sure when to, and then I had to rebuy one of these later on, but very cool. So what I did was I cut these out and put these in pictures, in picture frames, and actually now that I have these out, I'm gonna do that again because I really like those pictures in it. I like there's certain artwork that I really liked where it does color differences, and that kind of takes me to like dub techno. You know, where they change the color for every, like if you know the Studio One remixes or a lot of dub techno labels change the color for each remixes. Yeah, I really like how they do that, and that kind of comes from, for me, I'm trying to think of the first one that did that was like New Order Technique. So it has the picture of that. The guy kind of looks like Ben Franklin, if you know the New Order Technique album, and they do the different colors, it's like blue and purple. Looks really cool. What's his name? Seville, who does all the artwork for all those New Order, stuff. God, I can't think of his name. Seville, anyways. Can't think of his first name, but yeah, he did all the work for those. And great guy. I mean, not great guy, but if you know Seville, but great artist. Anyways, a couple other CDs. This one kind of bombed, 97. Skyscraping. I think I like one song on there. Kind of disappointing. And this was kind of their ode to making Lexicon of Love 2. And I think this came out in 2016 or 17. They got back with Ann Dudley and wrote some new songs. And unfortunately, this got rave reviews, but I don't think it's that good. I think I made like 2 songs on it. Very well produced. I mean, they're taking the blueprint of a great album and turning it into a part 2, but I don't know. It's just not there for me. I don't know. And then, of course, I have, absolutely ABC, which is their greatest hits on CD as well. So that's my ABC collection, and really great band. Highly underrated. I think when everybody thinks of 80s bands, they never think of ABC, and they were so creative. I think that's on probably my bucket list, is to see ABC live just for the heck of it. He's got so much energy when he does live, and if they did the right songs, and I wouldn't want to see them if they play like 6 or 8 songs on like some festival or freaking 80s boat tour or something like that. But if they actually had a concert and it was all themselves, and they did like an hour and a half, and they did some of the more rare songs on some of the albums, I would be so happy, because they have a lot of good songs. Especially the ones that are non-singles. There's so much good songs on there. So if you like disco music and you like catchy keyboards and catchy pop, and they have so much great music, and definitely check them out. If you know, you know. If you don't know some of those albums, though, check out, especially Abracadabra. If you like house music and you've heard of ABC, check out that album. You'll definitely appreciate it. A lot of good stuff on there. So thanks for listening. This is Electric Cafe signing off. Have a good day.